Federal judge is getting ready to hear arguments between the Justice Department and the New York Times. The outlet is trying to quash a DOJ subpoena for phone records of journalists behind a report about security on the new Air Force One gifted by Qatar. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now. So I guess first off, Katrina, remind us what these journalists reported, which we all ultimately reported.
We did, yes. And what the New York Times reported was that when Trump was leaving the NATO summit in Turkey, Secret Service asked him to use the old Air Force One, not the new one that was donated by Qatar, which he took to get there. And it was because they had security concerns. And what the Times said is that officials told them it didn't have the same counter-defensive capabilities. But Trump told a different story. He said that he wasn't taking the jet because the new one was going to go to these U.S. Army bases and they were going to show it off, and allegedly was very infuriated by this reporting.
So what does the DOJ say it's looking for? What do they want to find?
They're asking for two things. They're trying to compel testimony from a number of reporters before a grand jury. And then it's also turned out that they are seeking phone records as well. And not just from the reporters. The Times says they're also trying to get the records of someone's mother and of two of these journalists' spouses. What's also notable is that in two of the cases, the Times says that the requests reach back all the way to January. So they say this really goes beyond this reporting. They allege that the DOJ is trying to forage here to learn more about certain journalists' relationships with their sources, who is giving them information.
The notion of an administration going after journalists, and this is to be clear, because people might surmise that this is just the Trump administration. Every president, every administration has from time to time gone after journalists, including Democratic ones, including President Obama himself, who famously went after many journalists during his time in office. But what's unusual specifically about this case?
Yeah, Vlad, that's absolutely true. What appears to be happening here is that it seems to be a more aggressive tactic. I mean, we also saw this with the Washington Post reporter, Hannah Nathanson.
That's right.
Where they seized her electronics. And in this case, the New York Times says that they went beyond a normal protocol. Usually, they will first go to the news organization with these subpoenas so that they can fight them, their legal teams can. They say in this case, agents went straight to these reporters' homes. So they claim that there wasn't the normal notice that you would get and that the DOJ is violating their own policies when it comes to the media here.
Right, because normally you would serve those subpoenas to the Times in-house counsel, right? Is that how it normally
Exactly,
happens?
yes. Yeah. It would normally go straight to the organization. And what they also say is initially they knew about these grand jury testimony subpoenas. They were already in talks with the government, and then they found out there were also these phone record subpoenas. So they thought they were having these good faith discussions, they say, and then even more information came out about records DOJ was seeking.
All right, Katrina, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.